It's no secret that Japan has a death grip on the future of automobiles. Whether you're an enthusiast or not, Japanese manufacturers always make a car that suits everyone. For example, if you're questioning reliability, everyone knows that Toyota is your best bet. They are cheap, not awful to look at, and very simple, meaning less parts to break, and when they do break, cheap to repair. If you want something a bit more spacious and stylish, why not go for a Honda? If those two don't float your boat, maybe you'd like a Mazda. They provide a thrilling driving experience while having most of the pros of the others. These three brands all have two things in common. They're innovative and they like to make small cars. And here's the first car we'll be talking about. It's called the Toyota Aqua. In America, it goes by the name of the Prius C. This is because the powertrain is the exact same as the Prius. It still has the same hybrid system and the same CVT gearbox. The power is still sent to the front wheels, but it's now on a much shorter wheelbase chassis. That should mean that it's easier to park and a little bit more nimble. But is that the case?
I'll tell you what, why don't we just find out?
Throw the CVT into drive and off you go.
Now, of course, you don't buy a car like a Prius C to go fast or have an exciting driving experience. So I'm not going to pay attention to whether or not it makes 100,000 or 1,000,000 horsepower or whether it weighs as much as the sun. This car is designed to fit you, a couple of family members, and a dog. Maybe some groceries, take you home, hopefully alive.
But I can tell you about the gas mileage. While it isn't bad, it's 48 mpg in the city. And honestly, for a small engine hybrid, that's not really blowing my socks off. But with this CVT, it really is up to the driver.
Now I know you're thinking, well, obviously, but to be honest, it's a little bit more complicated than you may think. Like this, when I'm not pushing the car, about a quarter on the throttle maybe, the engine is completely disconnected from the wheels and is not using any fuel virtually. It's mostly the battery working. But when I put my foot down at the halfway mark, and some more, we get pretty high up into the rev range. That's really not good on fuel. Then if I lift off, instantly the wheels are disconnected from the engine. So you're saving fuel again. Since I'm not on the throttle at all, I'm also generating some battery. But if you're on the highway, you're gonna get really bored of this sound. That's all it says.
So for those of us that value our mental health, perhaps the Aqua is not the best choice. It doesn't help that there isn't an awful lot of space in the back seats of the car, and that the inside of the car itself is made from a bunch of cheap plastic and composites. The seats and steering wheel also have an awful texture, so the Toyota probably not winning any hearts. But it certainly isn't all bad news, because for $1,100 less, you can get a Honda Fit. You get a futuristic space-age interior with a lot more leather and a lot more space. Just sitting in it and looking at it, I can't tell you why the Aqua would cost another $1,100. And driving it just reinforced that feeling.
Attention everyone! There is a company called Toyota trying to scam you. They're trying to sell you a car that costs $1,100 more than one of these. And this is better in every single conceivable way.
Well, maybe apart from the color. But it's a Honda, so there's plenty of fun picks. This car feels quite a lot zippier than the Aqua. It sounds better. And although it feels a little bit more understeery on the way in, it definitely has more control. And again, apart from the color, I think it's nicer on the eyes. But that price tag has to be hiding some kind of major flaw. There's no way they'd sell this car for $1,100 less than the worst car. In order to explain that price tag, there has to be a terminal flaw with the Fit. My job as a journalist is to find exactly what that may be, even if it means going to extreme measures.
See if it's the handbrake. Hard on the brakes. Rip it. Oh, it's not the handbrake. There we go. We're making it around the corner. We have turned.
The handbrake turn did have a quite interesting side effect, though.
So, the Honda Fit can negotiate a handbrake turn. Better yet, it's given me a haircut and changed my clothes. That really says it all, doesn't it? The Aqua grew my beard out, and then the Honda cut all my hair off. And people have the audacity to say that Hondas are for old people. Come on. This is physical evidence of otherwise. I really don't have any initial complaints about this car. Of course, I can't say anything about the reliability of any of these cars since I'm driving them for about 2 hours each or so, sometimes more. But fuel-wise, they're all good. They should be anyways. They're compact cars. There's nothing to really say about them. Which in a car like this is a good thing. You don't really need it to knock your socks off or anything to get you from point A to point B. And this car is pretty good at that. Now you see the brakes could be better on this car. Compared to the other ones, it's not that far off, but they aren't very good. They'll still get you stopped. I think that they're reliable, just if you're going at a pretty decent speed and then a child comes into the road, you're not stopping in time. Sorry to say it. Child will probably be okay, but you will not come to a stop in time. It's also a really boring car to drive. Which, again, this is that type of car. It's not supposed to be exhilarating. And it's more exhilarating than the Aqua, for example. I'd rather drive this than a Prius C, but I mean, it's not saying much. So do I like this car? Yes. It's better than the Aqua, and believe it or not, I really like these small, sensible cars. This isn't the one that I pick out of every single small, sensible car in the world, but out of the ones that I've driven so far today, absolutely I'd pick this one over the Aqua. But there's one more car that we have to test.
Now this is Mazda's example. It's called the Demio. It's a small hatchback, just like all the other ones. But there's one key difference. And the second I noticed what it was, it had a profound effect on me and my driving abilities.
What's up, brah?
Yes, the Mazda Demio, with its simple manual gearbox, allows you to relive the moments of being an irresponsible teenage driver. And you'll be hard-pressed to find anything that's more fun than purposefully driving like a complete and utter idiot.
It's kinda hot in here. Probably shouldn't be doing this on the highway, but whatever. I'm a talented racing driver. Obviously. Oh yeah! Clutch kick!
Anyways,
It's still not much of a mover, but it's definitely a lot more fun to drive. It's also powered by a microscopic diesel engine, so it doesn't burn through very much fuel, and it should be fairly easy to maintain.
the interior is my favorite of the three as well. It's very simple, but it's also very futuristic. It has heads-up displays and infotainment systems, but all in all, it's very clean.
And the actual gear display here reminds me a lot of the ND Miata. A big tachometer, a digital speedometer, and then a gear reading. I can tell immediately what everything on here says, even though some of it is in Japanese. And when you want to put your foot down, well, it doesn't really go, but it gives you the illusion that it's going.
That makes this car just sound perfect for the teenage driver. They'll feel like they're going fast, so they'll be happy, but they won't actually be going fast enough to kill themselves. So, what could possibly be the downsides for this car?
You can really bash this thing around. This knob and this entire gearbox, as a matter of fact, just feels a little bit too light. Not enough force behind it.
Other than the crummy all-season tires it comes with, I can't really complain about the driving experience, but it's the buying experience that really sets me off.
You'd expect with a manual gearbox and a diesel and no hybrid, and the interior being relatively simple, that it would be cheaper than the Fit. But no, this is nearly $20,000. Why? Why would they charge another $3,000 for this? This is less than the Fit will ever be.
To be fair to the Mazda 2, it did score a higher NCAP safety rating than the Honda Fit.
If you're being responsible, if you're wearing your seatbelt, you can't even really get that hurt in this thing, I'm sure. Unless it's somebody else's fault. You know, get T-boned by a truck might not be very good for you. But I mean, you understeer into a tree, which seems like quite a possibility now, you're going to be going about 17 miles an hour. It's not that fast. I've crashed into a tree at a lot faster than 17 miles an hour, and I'm completely fine. Obviously. Given I was wearing a helmet, and a lot of people say that I'm really awkward now, but I'm okay. I guess I should say I'm alive. I have all my limbs, and I can still speak English. Kind of.
These may be small eco cars, but just for fun, we're going to run them around a racetrack. Welcome to the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, which is located in West Kingsdown, which is located in England, which is located in the UK, which is located in Europe. Strangely, they said that we can only use the track if there are 2 cars on it at once. So, we bought a clapped out Honda Civic, because why not?
All we need now is a driver. Some say that he is extremely rude and unfunny, and that he smells like literal death. All we know is he's not the Stig, because this is not BBC's Top Gear.
First, the Aqua. Will it be able to beat our new clapped out Civic off the line? The beam has been cut, the Aqua is being timed, and it looks like the Civic is ahead. It's on worse tires, but it does have a lot more power, and I think it even weighs less. In the paddock hill we go. The Civic definitely breaking away. It's not really anticipated, but it is what it is. Small lift through paddock hill for the Aqua. Got pretty close to the sand there, but didn't quite touch it. That's the line you want. Now, as we go through Druids, hard in the brakes. Car's definitely leaning understeer, but keeps it on the track. Using 100% of the track there. And the Civic with the camera in its front grille is completely useless at the moment, just giving it dirty air. Shouldn't be too much of an effect though, using more than all of the track there, going over the white line, but we'll keep it intact. This is the Indy short circuit, so they won't be going down the big straight just yet. Flying over the curb, bouncing back and forth, and then into this long right-hander. The Aqua should have an advantage over our clapped out Civic through here, but it's not going to be enough. Then it's a big run, a little bit of a crooked run admittedly, but down to the line, flat to the floor all the way through this crooked straightaway. The Aqua won't be able to best the Civic, but it will cross the line just behind it. Now for the Fit, it's still an automatic, but it's not a CVT. It might be a bit quicker off the line, especially using all that hybrid power. The power output with both the internal combustion engine and the battery is about as much as my vacuum cleaner. Once again, the Civic that we bought and tuned to lose everything is once again winning this race against these eco cars through Paddock Hill, and oh my goodness, close to the sand through there, but once again keeping it out into Druids. This is where I feel this car might struggle. It's a little bit heavier, but he keeps it on a very clean line. And then it's a downhill run. This should help the Fit quite a lot because it's underpowered and doesn't weigh too much, but still that downhill section really helps, keeping it much cleaner than the Aqua through there. And then through here we're gonna go straight because this is the shorter Indy circuit. We're not gonna use the whole thing. How much curb will he take here? Just about all of it, bouncing up and down. And then there's a bit of braking through here as we go through this long right-hand corner with the late apex touching the curb there. Flat out now down this crooked straightaway. Again, it won't be enough to beat the purposefully slow Civic, but it will probably put up a respectable lap time relevant to the Aqua, yeah? And across the line goes the Honda Fit. And then the Demio. This has got a manual, so I got high hopes for it. Will its lighter weight help it off the line compared to the Civic? They're neck and neck now. Nope, the Civic's pretty far ahead, and now a full car length ahead. I believe I'm correct in saying that the Demio is the lightest, so how will it fare through Paddock Hill? Will there be any braking? There might be a lift there, but I didn't see the lights come on. Not using 100% of the track there, but definitely not a bad line. Pretty close to the Civic still. Hard on the brakes turning in. It looks quite nimble, this little car. The sector time is looking pretty good compared to the Aqua, keeping it very tidy through this lap. Not far off from the Civic now as we go through here. How much curb do we fancy? We're all the way up on the curb and over the white line going across the rumble strip. Once again, sector time is looking pretty good compared to the Aqua, but it does seem slower straights. A little bit of curb there, not going all the way over. Hard on the brakes as we go into this final right-hander. It's right there with the Civic, but it's not going to get the run. Will it be quick enough to nip the Aqua, though? It's been super close through all the sectors, but it's hugely down on power compared to it, and this is a long straight. Here we go, across the line goes the Civic, and then the Demio. Right, so let's go over which one of these three cars you should actually buy. Now, for fun factor, did I enjoy driving these cars? Now, for the Aqua, no, I didn't. It was boring and it was annoying. The Fit was pretty bearable, and the Demio had a manual gearbox. That's an automatic 3. Now, for the price, the Aqua was the second cheapest, understandable. The Fit was the absolute cheapest, which is a little bit strange, and the Demio, for some reason, cost $20,000, so not a very good mark for the Mazda there. Now, down here for comfort. Ooh, it's not looking good for the Aqua here with its cloth seats. That's going to be a bad one. The Fit was pretty good, and I'd say this is subjective, but I'm going to give the 2 to the Fit and the 3 to the Demio, just because the Demio is a little bit more refined. And for lap times, now, surprisingly, the Aqua did it in 1 minute 9.996. The Fit did it in 1 minute 10.615. And the Demio did it in 1 minute 10.016, which means, surprisingly, the Aqua, the most boring car to drive, is also the fastest. And the Fit, the one that was bearable, is, well, the slowest. And the Demio, thanks to its manual gearbox, is second place. Which means that the most boring car to drive is the fastest, the cheapest car is the best, and the worst equipped car is the most expensive. So I suppose my suggestion is, if you want to buy a small eco car, buy a Honda Fit. Yeah, right. You could buy like 3 Focuses with that kind of money.